notice issues. There are numerous, but I think we'll get it. We'll get it. Now that Stephen has some help a little bit, I'm gonna help him, and so we'll move some of them out.
There's a lot to get caught up.
It is.
Hello, hello.
City Clerk,
Yes, ma'am.
the timer is gonna be working today?
It's on the laptop.
Okay, it's gonna be working.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Well, let's see, what am I having for dinner? I go home and have
Right, I do. I mean, it's here, so we might as well try to use it.
all kind of stuff.
Well, it's off now. The meeting's over.
Can have,
So they said that participants that he was on there is listed him. Oops.
You probably can open it back up.
It's over. The meeting's over. The 3:45 has been adjourned.
No, I'm saying, open it back up and he will be in the room actively for the 4 o'clock meeting now.
Oh, it's
But you wanna,
Oh my gosh.
time for the next one.
Goes by quickly, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I was gonna show you, we got a citizen who's doing AI for our meetings. I don't know if y'all know it or not. Miss Francis Speaks. So she helping us out with our communication. Where's the city manager?
Stephen only has 2 meetings on here. He only had the 3:45 and the 4 and the 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, Stephen is taking over. Stephen is just taking over.
Like Stephen is trying to be,
We were in and it said that he was in as a participant. I didn't see anything about no.
Yeah, Lorraine.
Not a little, it was further west, it was.
Yeah, it was killing us.
Did you get the second email?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, let's make sure. Clayton? Yes, ma'am.
Clayton, I get Clayton, I get Carlton.
Last name, first name.
Well, so my name is Clayton Ford. Clayton, my grandmother was Rosalie Clayton on my mom's side. My grandma from Midway was Christine Ford on my dad's side, so they put them together. Yep, they went to Gadsden County Schools, all of them. There's only one of them left.
My Aunt Olivia just died about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Oh, no, they went to school. My grandmother taught typing at the federal prison. I think she got her master's at family. But she was, he wasn't here, but they were So that's why I said everything I put is not full. My grandmother, my mom, when she passed, whenever I call her, no matter where it was, what time, she full name. Is that the gavel? Was that the gavel? Oh, okay. That's on the gavel. I'm like, oh Lord.
That was her
So she
thing.
said, when I called her, she said, you know the whole name.
Oh, it's
Every
5:05.
single time.
We're waiting on the city manager. He's,
He was in the conference room.
So there's actually, and there's
and then we'll
another,
go ahead and get started.
so they were like,
Turn it over.
don't quote me on it, there was a bunch of sisters that she had. They were Clayton girls. So there's another, I had a cousin who's also a Clayton. But I get Carlton because my dad's a lawyer, it's like a fresh print. I get Clifton. Clifton, Clayton, Carlton, I answer to them all. As long as it ain't Mr. Knowles. He's good. Even my students, I'm like, I told them that's something, just call me Clayton. They're like, oh no, we can't do that. I'm like, so I was, my dad in here. Well, he came to a couple of my classes. So,
think these were carved out of Jackson.
Ready? We'll begin our workshop, our financial workshop for April and May. Financial reports as well as our budget review and adaptation plan survey. And I'll turn it over to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, we'll have the financial report update from April of 2026, the 6-month ending.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We'll begin with April. For the 7 months ending April 30th, 2026, the operating and revenues and expenditures overview. The total operating revenues collected from October 1st, 2025 through April 30th, 2026 was $23,079,841. The governmental funds accounted for $7,726,294 of that amount. Enterprise funds, $15,353,547. Those revenues collected represent 60% of the total operating budget. Revenues as of April 30th, 2026 were 1.6 million more than April of 2025. The total operating expenses for that same period were $21,186,416. The governmental funds accounted for $6,404,357. The enterprise funds was $14,782,059, which represented 55% of the total operating budget. The expenses for April 30th, 2026 were $833,649 more than April of 2025. The net operating results for the city of Quincy were $1,893,425. The governmental funds was $1,321,937, and the enterprise fund $571,488 of that amount. For the budget and accounting overview, total disbursements for the month of April 2026 were $4,524,885.75, which was paid through 572 checks, NODs, and ACHs. P-card purchases for that month for a total of $5,807.84. Only one department did go over the threshold. It was the police department, and those expenses were related to police training and travel for that training. Any questions for April?
Yes, how much should they go over? Does that represent?
Let's give you that amount real quick.
The police department that you indicated.
Total was, let me look at the statement. They went over by, was that $800? Yeah, so they spent $2,300 instead of, they went over the $1,500.
It's about 20 pages over.
Okay. That's the P card that they use.
Correct, yes, ma'am.
I have another question, that has to do with our overall finance, piece. What kind of timeline are we looking at for our annual audit? Where are we in terms of status?
We met with James Moore, the firm that is assisting us, and they're getting the information to the auditor, and they're hoping by the end of September that they would have everything to the auditor. He would provide a timeline, but they're thinking and hoping that by the end of September.
Will that give us enough time to to discuss, review, and prepare our budget by September 30th?
Well, that would be the end of the 24-25 budget year. And so I'm going to say probably not, because September the 30th is when the deadline for the 26-27 audit. And our goal is to, with the 26-27 fiscal year, if we remain with this firm, even if not, but if we remain, that we will have the audit by June 30th, which is the date that the auditors normally do. And so this year is going to definitely probably not be that, but hopefully moving forward after this year, we would have the budget in a much more timely fashion, and that would actually be for the end of this year, 25-26.
I say that because we oftentimes use that information to make adjustments for our upcoming budget. And if we don't have that information in a timely manner, then I question what kind of adjustments we're going to be able to make or have knowledge of or have an understanding of. And if we have this company, can they give us some highlights a little earlier before we get a draft or a final copy, so that we'll know what we're working with and what it looks like, even though we're a year behind? Because again, we use that as data and information to understand what we need to do action-wise for the upcoming budget.
Amanda is making notes, and at our meeting tomorrow morning at 9:30, we'll make sure that that's requested.
And on that note, it's the same request that I made, to have at least the trial balance or some form of that, so that we will have just some working document, disbursements, expenditures, estimated where we ended that year, will be helpful to the commission, especially for budgeting purposes. So I agree. Thank you. Any other comments for April?
You can proceed to the Go ahead.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay, overview of financial reports for May 31st, 2026. I believe you all received the updated overview. There was just one typo for it. As 7 months, it should be 8 months. So that was the only change at the very top. Okay. For the 8 months ending May 31st, 2026, operating revenues and expenditure overview. Total operating revenue for the period of October 1st, 2025 through May 31st, 2025 were $25,860,296. Governmental funds was $8,667,216. Enterprise was $17,193,080. Total revenues collected during that period represent 62.7% of the total operating budget of $38,240,441. Revenues as of May 31st, 2026 were $2,474,796 more than May of 2025. Operating expenses for that same period were $23,818,097. Governmental funds were $7,229,590. Enterprise funds $16,588,507, which represents 61.9% of the total operating budget. Expenses as of May 31st, 2026 were $1.4 million more than May
over again, we've seen the conclusion say cash management and grant maximization. And I've asked for clarity in terms of what that means and what that looks like in terms of our strategy or strategic tools that we're using. Just to say it does not say that what we're doing in relationship to our finances in the next year or the next cycle. Can we get more defined information regarding what that means and what that looks like? And maybe a few charts that help us to see pictorially what that looks like.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it says, combined with strict adherence to purchasing policies and procedures, again, more defined definition in terms of what that is. Because, you know, a couple of citizens have asked me, what does that look like? And I have a difficult time trying to explain it to them. So if you could make that easier
Yes, ma'am.
and more simplistic so that, again, citizens will know what we are doing with our money if we're talking about strategies and tools that we're using. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Stevens?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the report, Ms. Matthews. You know, the good thing that I would point out from what I see here is, and Mr. Manager, thank you for all your hard work, and Ms. Matthews and all of our staff. The eight months puts us 66.6% through the budget year, and our collections are ahead of that, which is good, and our expenses are less than that percentage of the budget, which is good. So I'm glad to see we're above on revenues and below on expenses. Hopefully we'll end the year that way. Thank you.
That's the goal. And make sure you put that on the list for the discussion at the meeting tomorrow morning. A little bit more explanation with
Yes, sir.
getting assistance from them. If no further questions on those two, I'm going to come up beside Ms. Amanda for the next portion of the workshop.
Okay, we'll move into the budget review.
Yes. If you would, keep that last sheet that you have with the May 31st, month ending May 31st. Every director's meeting that we have, and typically every other Monday morning, the budget is on the workshop, is on the agenda, and we discuss with each department their budget, and we stress that we please not purchase anything other than those things that are necessary and mandatory to get the job done, as well as the P cards, and making sure that we don't use those unless it's expenses that we can't wait, and we go through the process of that. And so we're beginning to look at the 26-27 budget, and hopefully by the next workshop, we will have a timeline with some dates and different workshops, and making sure that we are applying with the state requirements as far as getting the trim and not trim, but getting everything the way it should. Now, this is my first budget that I'm working with. Nervously excited. And so what we're using as a gauge is every month I'm looking at the revenues that have come in, paying real specific attention to the expenses. And so as I provided you with a spreadsheet that have the commission budget and what the commission 25-26 budget numbers look like. I've provided that, we have provided that with each department. And every department, we've sat down with them and gone through this year's budget. And we looked at the 26-27 budget with any request or anything that they have, anything that they need that should be include it in that budget if we could. My biggest request or thing with the budget is trying to include a salary increase for employees. Our employees, if you talk to any and every one of them, and as they see me, and I love to be out and about some and going with the code enforcement officer and public works to see various things when there's issues and things with power outages. I actually go in the lineman, and they always talk about and mention that there have not been a salary increase for quite some time, depending on which one you talk to, whether it be 4 or 5 years or the case. But I really think that it is imperative and is very, very important that we provide a salary increase for our employees. So as you look at the sheet that we provided you for your budget, we've looked at the adopted budget for 26, the amended budget for 26, the expenditures used to date. So this will be as of May 31st. Those are the numbers that the commission have used in those items, line items. And so if you look at that first column that says salary and wages, it has been pre-populated there by Amanda because she have factored in a 6% salary increase for every employee, including the commissioners. So in the spreadsheet that you're looking at, that 89,455 is what it would cost if we were to provide a 6% salary increase for you. That's just my wish. If you look at the FICA taxes, we've projected what the difference that would make. Retirement contributions, that amount. Life and health insurance, that amount that you see in those columns. And so with every department, we factored in projected 6% salary increase. Now those lines, those boxes that you see blank, that would be the ask for the commissioners in this case. We've done it with every department to look at where we are with 25 and where we want to be with 26, 27, taking into consideration that as we go through the budget, we have reduced the line items other than the ones that are already pre-populated to include the 6% increase. So we're working from the premises that our expenses would be no greater in 26, 27 than they are in 25, 26. So we've reduced line items to be able to make sure that the increases with salary, FICA taxes, retirement contributions, and insurance has been taken care of. So we increased the salaries, but we reduced some other things down in the budget to get to that point. And so we met with all, and it has been clearly articulated that these numbers and things may change. Number one, we may not get the blessing of the commissioner for the increase. And number two, we're also projecting that revenue will be at least where it is this year for 26, 27, although we have not gotten all of the necessary information to ascertain that. And so as we work through, we will continue to monitor at the end of each month the amount of revenue that's come in, the amount of expenses that goes out, so that all of this is just a starting point. So nothing is etched in stone. And so if you look at the commission budget that we have for 26, we had $84,599 with the amended budget for commission salaries. Year to date, as of May 31st, we've expended $52,962. And in the proposed 26-27 budget, we're proposing that increase from $84,599 to $89,455. Of course, that would all depend on whether the commission gave 6% or authorized, or if we could factor in 6% or more, or maybe a little less, but hopefully it would be some form of salary increase. The FICA taxes that was budgeted for 25, 26, $6,472. As of today, or May 31st, $3,603, and the proposed budget would increase that to $6,843. And so forth. Same thing with the retirement contributions, life and health insurance would increase to those numbers that we have there. And again, we'll talk a little bit about the health insurance in a few minutes, because we have received from Capital Health Plan the increase for the 26-27 year. And we are being proactive and looking at what that increase would cost if the city absorbed it all, or I've been informed that in some years the city absorbed 75% of the increase and employees 25%. And so we're looking at what it would cost the city if we absorb that whole 3.5%, or if we pass some of that expense on to the employees. So the things that you currently have in your budget, that the ask would be that the commission will look at in professional services. We have not used hardly anything, but there was nothing there. So that $350, I'm not sure if that was for the recorder or the reporter that came in and did some reporting, but something took place to have a little bit there. Your telephone for this room and commissioners, $2,097, and so we have currently exchanged out, and Verizon, correct me if I'm wrong, is now our primary provider. We reduced the Comcast TDS and things, and so we're hoping that that will bring in a reduction in all of these phone charges and things that we have, and we are trying to proactively look at what lines are working, what lines are not working, where the phone rings when somebody dials a certain number, how many numbers are published out there, trying to streamline and reduce those, and it's a working process, and we have assigned a staff person to really work and look into that and see how we could, and hopefully within the 100-day plan of the mayor, we could be able to fix that, but it's a work in progress. Community events, there was $10,000 budgeted there. We've expended 28. Operating expense, I'm not sure what that $43 was that we spent on that. Legal ads or recording, there was $3,200 budgeted. Most of that has probably come out of the clerk's budget, and so therefore that's why it doesn't reflect anything taken there. IT support, that is spread out over all of the departments. They share into what that's cost, and the clerk has a wonderful idea that we'll bring at our next workshop to maybe look at doing a audit of some sort of our technological services and things, so that we can kind of see and get a better feel, and then see if we can make some adjustments in that as well. The chamber building improvements, the electronics that was recently purchased is part of where that was, and I think monies was moved from purchasing into that area. And so the ask would be, of course, and I haven't forgotten the rail, there's been a request to put the railing back across that was once here. But the ask would be that the commission, that you all do what we've done with each department. As I look at this budget, there's a request now for travel to the conference at the Florida League of Cities. As you can see, there is no line item here for that, and that's something that whether we can take a little bit from community events or chamber improvements or something to include that. Is there any trainings other than the Florida League of Cities that may come up, or you know, since my short time here, there's been requests to make a contribution or a donation to this group or that group, We've tried to take some of that, since I've been out of here, it's come out of the community events. And so the ask would be to look at and try to, if we can, live within that adopted budget for 2026 of the 194,850 versus the amended budget, which increased that by 210, that will fill those blanks that doesn't have a number in it, as well as if there's anything that you want to add under the description that would be added in that in your budget. So, any questions about? It's not comfortable talking in front of the. Can you tell I'm nervous? I am.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate your staying at the same revenue
Expenses.
numbers, expenses and expenses, well, more so the revenue.
Okay.
However, you say that, but we've not seen any trend data or data to factualize us and our revenue position. One of the things that we have requested is a forensic audit because of the things that we have been going through for the last 3 years. We have places that we don't know what's going on. I'm really strongly believing we don't know what's going on. And until we get a handle on that, I don't understand how we can get a handle on knowing what our revenue is and making we can probably do a better job with our expenditures right now. But to have a complete transparency about our revenue, I'm not real sure if we're there yet. Somehow we have to find some money for a really deep dive in terms of the audit, a real forensic audit that speaks to everything that we do and brings out what those elements are and what we're doing, and laying it out very clearly. And I'm not sure where that's at, because I don't think we have done that. For example, burial plots. Are we sure we know what we're doing with that and how much we get and what has happened over the past 3 years? And that we are legitimate in the monies that we have really brought in or say we brought in? Do the paper match really the actual? So that concerns me, and that would be some questions I would ask. I need trend data. I need better definitions of some of these areas, breakouts of what it actually is and what we're doing. We did 6%, 7% with Capital Health Plan last year and covered all of that. We've not looked at what impact that has made on our budget since we did it last year, and I think we covered the expense for all employees. And so we're a year in terms of approving something like that. So what does that look like? What does that say in terms of our revenues and our overall health, financial health of our city? I would love to give employees increases, and I think they're deserving of it, particularly our utility lineman area. They haven't had in years, and when we have an emergency, they're the first ones that are out there in the danger to keep us safe and bring our utilities up and to make sure everything's in place. And I would just love to. But again, we have not generated any data and information to say that that's the best course of action for us to do regarding our budget, although it would be welcome, appreciated, well-deserved, all of the names that we could think of. But again, we're in a different kind of season in terms of finances and the ability to generate money. So that concerns me. You talked about the railing across here. Don't forget about the railing, the handicap railing for the little step there. Because a number of citizens have almost fallen, including myself, on that, and so we do need some protection on that side of the railing. So those are my little comments for now.
You've said a lot,
I said,
and it's
yeah,
and it's appreciative. As you can see from the sheet that you have with the 8 months ending in May the 31st,
yes, sir.
the revenue that we've collected to date is 67.2%. And that is 67.2% of the 38 million plus that you budgeted last year. And where that 67.2% is in your booklet there. So you can go to your booklet and look at each area that there was revenues expected to come from, and you would see what we have collected to date, what we had budgeted for, and what percentage is outstanding. And so we are using that as a gauge. And as you can, as I said earlier, we do not have everything we need at this point to indicate where we are with revenues and reoccurring, but we're watching and monitor those. You mentioned the cemeteries specifically. There was a certain amount that was budgeted that was expected from cemeteries, and the number that you see that would show what has been collected is actually dollars that have actually come in. Now, is there dollars that have not come in? We don't know. But what we do know is what you see and what you have, and if we need to have a workshop to go through those, that budget to look at all of the revenues, and you can also look at every department, and every department has a sheet like this that's included in that document. Every department that have the wages and the FICA, telephone communities, and various other things is listed there that we have access to, and I am reviewing them to give them to you monthly or every other month when they come together, but I'm reviewing them on a regular basis. And so as of now, and if there is a request to do an audit, forensic audit, and this commission requests that we look at doing that, then of course we will, but we have to use what we have in order to try to make the best decisions that we possibly can, because come September the 30th, we must have a budget.
Balance.
A balanced budget. And so we're gonna balance it the best we can with the information for which we have.
Any other comments? Commissioner Stevens?
One other comment. Those things that you listed, I'm sorry I didn't write them down, and so it's appreciative if you all would provide that feedback, because it's welcomed, and we would definitely look at it and try to incorporate it and make sure that you have everything that you need in order to be able to help us to make an intelligent decision moving forward.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just me speaking for me. As I look at the proposal, I appreciate the work and the commitment to try to find the funds to increase the salary for our employees. But I, for one, would prefer that whatever excess funds we have go to employees and not city commission. So I would propose leaving our salary where it is today, and using those excess funds to help cover the cost of what it would cost for our employee raises. That's just my thought. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, thank you. I actually, I'm in agreement with Commissioner Stevens. I would say I would want a raise to the employees. Just my personal opinion on that. I do think that our employees deserve a raise. I was kind of shocked by the hourly for our linemen. I had no idea that the pay was that low. So, and I'm sure in some other departments, we probably are below the standard rate of pay. I think that looking at our, and this is a great guide to show where our revenue stands as we know it today with this summary. But I would, and I've said it since I've been up here, professional services, operating expense, I just need to know what exactly they are as far as who are we paying for those. And I'm not saying we have that every month, but whenever we do, if we can kind of do at the bottom of the page, something that says this is what we pay, because he, just like the manager, he's like, I don't know what this operating expense was, but it's $43.19. So something that would tell us what that operating expense was, or what was the professional service. Was it transcription? Was it something else? Because we, you know, it'll be easier to just be able to look at it within the budget. Now, the chamber building improvements, one of the things that I would say is, could we get some chairs up here? Before we close it, could we get some chairs, because these are worn, I think even the conference room, those chairs also need to be replaced. And we already had it budgeted, and I know I talk about the chairs all the time, but that was one of our chamber improvements that we already approved in the budget from before. So I would love for us to kind of get back to that. And they started in the chamber, we did some improvements, we got a new table, new, you know, some technology, but the chairs would be nice if we could get some prices and get some better seating up here as well.
I'll take the ones in the chamber for the conference room if we can get some for this room. And if it's okay, I'll ask the clerk to research, have some dialogue with the commissioners about different types of chairs, because if I went and got one, it wouldn't probably be appropriate.
Yes, and one thing I wanted you to kind of go back to, you glossed over it, were the phones. Tell us what you put in place as far as the phone system, because that's been a conversation of contention in the past with all the different carriers. So what have you put in place to resolve some of those issues?
At our most recent staff meeting, which was yesterday morning, we assigned a staff person to do a complete review of every phone number, every phone line, to see if we can track and try to figure out phone numbers that are being advertised or that are out on the website. Look at every one of those lines to see where they go to, and to make sure that it's actually an operational line, and to try to determine there is a number or two that's supposed to be the main numbers coming into City Hall, and if nobody answers it, it should direct you to a certain department by a prompt. And so to do to try to trace and follow every one of these lines, and to we've encouraged staff to the extent possible to check your messages every day and return messages, because there are some citizens who say that they call in, they leave a message and nobody call them back. And so we're just trying to, or I'm trying to trace every number, every line, and to see, number one, does it actually go someplace? Is it a message, or did somebody ever answer it? And try to reduce the line and the phone numbers, and try to get the system to do and make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. There's a main number you call. That main number should go to a desk, and if that desk don't answer that number, then it should give them the option of being able to select from a assortment of departments.
Oh, okay, you answered, I was actually asking about the carriers. You said something about we reduce the number of carriers that we're using for our phones. and that's going to actually save us in the long run?
Previously, we had Comcast, TDS, and I think the police kind of converted over to Verizon for everybody else. So I think maybe in April, May, we started consolidating everything to Verizon. So that would be cellular and landline services. I think we'll probably have our first true bill this month because of course you got credits and all kind of stuff. But of course, that expense is going to decrease drastically just from me looking at what the bill kind of looks like now, because we were paying probably double for some stuff because of having so many transitions and carriers, because some places, something didn't work in one place, so who knows why it was multiple, but now we're Verizon. We're not paying anybody else for any phone services.
Commissioner Net?
Mayor, looking at the budget, has staff done an analysis of those areas where there is zero expenditure, when there is a dollar amount in the budget for it, all the way up to 38%, and we are 8 months in? Analysis of why we haven't spent it. Is there a plan to spend it? What we're spending it on? For example, I just turned to parks, and we right in the season where we're trying to recruit and get our citizens out to our facilities, and we've only spent contractual service, zero. One area, 38% of the money, a couple of areas. Another area, zero. We got 15,000 there for equipment. Can we not determine or have a destination for these budget items with a plan? This summer going to be able, school starts in about 4 weeks.
Yes.
And kids will be back in school, and so our ability to offer summer activities would have passed us, and we're now into the school year activities. But we got a October 1 new budget.
Could I
And
address that, please?
Well, yeah, and that was just one area that I looked at. I see a couple of other areas where we have zero expenditures and we got dollar amounts in the square. And
Okay.
we're 8 months in.
Okay. Look at the commission budget, where it says legal ads and recordings. There was $3,200 budgeted, and there's been no dollars expended thus far. So the discussion with the departments are, have we, and is there a need, or is there something that we haven't done that we need to do? And if not, don't use it. Then it will carry over into the next year, and it would reduce our expenses. And so if the commission haven't used $3,200 and nothing comes up that there's a need to use that, then don't use it. And so my approach is that we're trying to, I don't like to use the word, but be frugal and spend as less as possible, but at the same time, provide a quality product. And so Parks and Recs have a lot going on, and a little bit more of their expenses is going to come in the future, because the numbers that you see is about a month behind or so. And so where there is areas that monies have not been expended, the question has been, is there something outstanding? Is there something that we don't have not received an invoice yet for this? Are we able to provide the services that's required to have and do a good job in the department? And if the answer is yes, we're good, and no, there is nothing outstanding, then we're trying to not spend money just to spend it and just because it's budgeted.
Question, clarification. budgets can be carried over?
Well-
I'm not sure.
Well, when I say carried over, it will not be carried over, but it will be monies that was not necessarily spent. So no, it will not be carried over to that department. But hopefully, if we have $36 million for expenses, but we have budgeted for 38, then we have expended less than we had anticipated. I would hope that means that that would be a plus for the city's budget with 26, 27.
Not necessarily
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
budget, but our bottom line is.
Our bottom
Yeah, our
line.
bottom line
The
gets,
bottom
gets,
line.
yeah,
So
because
that's why
line items have to
that's-
speak to
Right.
themselves.
The bottom
Yeah.
line is, and that's why you're standing here with me.
Yeah. Help him out, Miss Amanda. Help him
I
out.
told her we were gonna be a team today. so-
Yeah, you gotta be a team, yeah. Because I don't want people to think that the carryover will be that amount plus, okay, something else that we add to it.
No.
Maybe
Uh,
less if you don't use it, if you don't need it.
Well-
It would be actually less in the next year, potentially.
Well, but we would have a plan to go along with that, to show that we are strategically looking at our finances and optimizing. So, again, with each one of these line items, I hope that we have a plan in place, either to utilize them or to clarify them, but whatever we need to do to make it as more transparent and make sure that we are utilizing the monies. Because if parks don't want to use their, if they don't want to have a space to use them, I have a park that needs repaving that I'll offer up. So if we offering up projects, I can send you a list. Mr. Manica not looking up at me.
I would love for you to send me a list on how we can spend less.
He got quiet on me.
And how we could, and how
I
we
just
could,
throw that out now,
and how we could increase our revenues, but
Yeah,
I'll take the
so,
list.
I'm just throwing it out, okay. Yeah.
Any other comments?
Okay, so I'm not sure, I've heard travel, furniture, and so Mayor, a little direction as to how the commission wish to look at these items and things that's here, what may need to be added as we try to input some numbers there and try to stay within the adopted budget for 2026. That would help our overall budget. And so we'll request some directions from the commission.
Commissioner
Mayor, how are we using our strategic plan and connecting it to our budget and our budget requests and our upcoming budget? Because I think the driving force has to be whatever we say our strategic plan is. And then that determines our priorities for that particular year. Because we've talked a lot about infrastructure needs. And there's a lot of things that are broken that needs to be fixed. So I don't know how that fits with the strategic plan. And I definitely don't know how it necessarily fits in terms of our budget as a priority. So I guess I need clarity in order to wrap around the pieces and parts that are needed to drive the budget, what those are as a city.
I'm thankful that we finally have I'm thankful that we have a strategic plan in place. Our budget is more of the day-to-day operation and the needs of the department. Our strategic plan, as we look at everything we do, of course, we try to make sure that if there's things that we could address that's in the strategic plan, then of course we will. But we're aggressively looking at grants and other forms of revenue to do most of the things, or a lot of the things that are strategic plan is major projects and major things that need to be done that we may or may not be able to incorporate it into the budget for which we're working on. But each department has a copy. They are aware. And as a city manager, I keep that document pretty close so that as I thumb through it and continue to look at it and evaluate it, if there's a way to incorporate our funds that we're looking at for the operating budget, then we can. But, and then of course, any suggestions as you all review that document would be welcome as well.
Mayor Pro Tem Knight.
Yes, I actually want to go back to the commissioner's budget, where on the line item it says community events, and this is just a question from my colleagues. Historically, how has that line item been used? Because I speak to quite a few people, and they would like to see more things in this commission supporting the efforts on Main Street. Whenever we do something around the courthouse square. So just historically, how have that line item actually been used to promote community events? If,
That's a
Well,
good question.
Since I've been on the commission,
Could I have a couple-
I've never asked for any city funds for a community event, and I've done several throughout the district, and the city has never given me any funds for that. So I don't know if this means citywide events, or is it per district events, or, so I do need, I'm just like you are, Mayor Pro Tem, what exactly are those events relating to? Because since I've been, we have not, I don't even know what the 2,800 was used for, so.
I asked Ms. Amanda to verify, but I have viewed that in the short period of time I've been here, like that 4K run that the city partnered and took on some of the expense. I view it like the Black History Parade, where we provided police officers and various other things, and
Christmas.
there may, the Christmas parade was expense with that. And so those are the things, since I've been here, that we've kind of used that.
So pretty much citywide
Right,
sponsor,
citywide
or
sponsor.
co-sponsors to events. And,
Right.
okay.
There may have been a breakfast, MLK breakfast that we may have made a donation to, or a few.
And one year we had a Black History program that I think the city made a contribution to.
And this would fall under, if we did something like Quincy Fest that they used to do years ago,
And it's okay if we keep them to a minimum.
which I think we should bring back, but that's a whole nother conversation, but
Is it in our
yes,
strategic?
because we really should be doing some city events. I don't know, I'll have to kind of look at that strategic plan to see what it has under that commission, said it have community events and quality of life, so. commission that.
We just turned 200 years last year, and I want to celebrate that.
250, not 200.
I think
Don't
for
talk about the
Quincy-
city.
Quincy, oh, city, oh, yeah, city of Quincy.
It's been some
This is-
Some people say we're not 200 yet, some say we are, so we gotta get some
That's research.
clarification on that. They say we're 198.
Oh.
I agree with the seats, because it's hard to keep from sliding down. So,
I'm sorry.
it's the seat, yeah. Or get it each, get me a pillow, please.
Yes,
That's
and I do
cheaper.
think we should add travel if we're gonna be doing I think professional development and travel should probably be a line item somewhere in here.
Okay, so we'll put the travel, and I heard that in lieu of the chairs, we may be able to get some, pillows. No,
And you said legal ads and recordings is for if we had like a transcriptionist or we were running a, why is that in our budget?
I don't wanna get the, new clerk, aroused
Or
over there, but, there was legal ads taken out of the clerk's budget, and when she kind of looked at some of the ads and things, but so obviously they've been taken out of the clerk's budget and not this one, and we'll probably make the adjustments in that budget.
The financial workshops, in order to prepare us for our budget, have they been looked at, suggested?
We're working on trying to get a calendar now that would have that, and so as part of our conversation tomorrow morning with the firm that we're working with, and so hopefully we will have another request for another workshop possibly before the next meeting, or if not at the next meeting we will request. But I envision that we should probably have a series of workshops when it comes to the budget.
So you'll give us a timeline?
I'll send a request, if it's okay, to the mayor and with some recommended dates and times.
And you brought up nonprofit donations. Do you know within a year's time, how many requests you've gotten, just to give us a kind of a gauge, a figure, for that? I think you probably should put a cap on how much, you're giving. Is that, if that's coming out of our budget, whose budget is that coming out of? Just asking, because it's not a line item.
Either yours or mine, and mostly mine probably.
Okay.
But what I've been doing lately, and it's kind of deferred some, is ask them to come and make the request with the commission. And so if there was a request for a donation or contribution, I've been asking, and the one or two that may have come, it was deferred to the manager, and I try to inform the commission, or I will inform the commissions what that may have been, what the contribution was. And I've only had a couple that I've said that due to budgeting restraints that the city at this time has not been able to make the contribution. I haven't got any push, but like I said, I haven't had very many of that. And the ones who come before the commission, you all have the last couple deferred it too, and so I can probably give a number as far as how many or the amount of the donations that we've done. But as far as those who may have made a request or not, I really don't have that data to say that we've had 5 or 6 or 4, whatever that number is.
So, but would you want that as a budgeted item, is what I'm asking?
I would love to have the commission to have an amount that we have budgeted for such activities, and to be able to, because now a commissioner may ask me about could we make a contribution for a certain thing, and do we have it budgeted? And I think that they already know the answer is no, it's not budgeted. And then the request comes, could we find it, or could I find it from someplace? So if we had an amount, and I don't know if we want to do it per district. At one point in time, I think per district may have had a set amount either for community events or something, or you just want to have $1, $2, $3, $4, $5,000 or whatever it is, and then use it throughout the course of the year. But now would be a good time to include it in the budget, so there'd be something budgeted there.
commissioners, any thoughts to the commission budget? Any further thoughts? I should say?
And y'all, I'm
I
new to
need
this.
staff to, if staff would give us a recommendation regarding the possibilities of a forensic audit.
And with that, would that include, because I was gonna ask about a utility audit. I don't know if that would be inclusive of, but I think.
Whatever the city of Quincy
that's,
does,
you
it
know,
needs to be inclusive.
mhm, I agree.
That would include the who, what, and how much it'll cost us to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Any other comments concerning the 2026 budget review for the commission budget? If not, we will move into the Quincy Adaptation Plan Survey. Or you moving into the,
Healthcare.
To the proposed capital health plan increase, the adaptation plan survey, Mr. Ash had requested that, and he had to leave, and I haven't been able to reach him, so I may have to bring that back again. So what we did want to share with you is that capital health plan has provided us with the increase that will be effective October the 1st with the insurance. In the blue and yellow box down at the bottom, it shows you the employee-only cost, which is currently $928, is proposed to go to $952, which would be an increase of 3.5%. And so if you go to the third page, or actually, let's go to the fourth page. Let's make a stop at the third page.
That's with the chart, with the rates.
Yes, the 2026 health insurance rates. And I'm gonna start at the middle box. The proposed, not the proposed, the new rate would be for an employee, $952.34. If you go all the way over to the far right corner where it says monthly increase, if the employee was to absorb all of that cost, it would be $32.20. So with the employee and the spouse, the new rate is $1,988.48. And if you go all the way over, the monthly increase for the employee would be $67.24. And same thing with the employee, the child, and the employee and the family. So if you go to the last box with the 2026 monthly rate, the employee $952.34. The city currently pays $723.19 for that employee. If the city absorbed that whole 3.5%, then the city cost would be $755.39 with no increase to the employee. Same thing with the employee and the spouse, employee and the child, and employee and family. From 1988, it would go to 1,577 from 1,510 if the city absorbed the entire increase and the employee received none. So if you go over to the very last page, the total cost in red with the increase of the employee, if the city was to absorb the entire increase, it would be 1.3 million almost. And so 1,295,000. And down at the bottom for the 26-27, it would be 1,250,000. So an approximately cost of about $55,000 if the city was to absorb the entire cost for our current employees. So I think I need to point out that if you look at the column to your left in red, that the number of employees with police and fire is 22, employees 52, employees and spouse 10, employees and children 12, employees and families 7. So we've looked at the current number of employees in each of those categories and cost out what it would cost the city if the city picked up the entire cost of that insurance, and it would be approximately $55,000.
Mayor, retirees, where do they fit into this equation, or these numbers, or these percentages?
And these percentages, of course, just not including, it's not including the retirees. We pay the total cost, as you know, of retirees, Medicare and regular costs. This doesn't include those numbers. And what I had in the back of me, how much we are paying. It's set that we pay the same thing. We have about, I would say, 15 retirees that we're paying the full cost, because we do not pay anything, to spouse or whatever, retirees. And Medicare is running around 330, whatever. We're paying, I would say we have maybe 26 Medicare.
In addition to the 15 retirees?
Yes.
20, what did you say? 22?
Yeah, around 20, it's in 20, 22, 20, 25.
Retire, that's on Medicaid,
Medicare.
Medicare. Okay.
And we haven't got the numbers for the cost for Medicare. That hadn't been provided to us yet. So I do expect some increase. Medicare kind of different, because a year, I think 1 year, year before last, we actually had a decrease. But I'm not certain, and I did call about it, and they don't have the numbers.
We make sure as we're moving forward that we incorporate those numbers as well into our discussions.
Mayor,
Comments from the dais? And currently, we pay 100%? Did you say the city pays 100%?
They paid the
We pay 75 and 25?
75, 25. We had a 7% increase that we paid, last year, last budget season.
Mayor
And we
Pro
paid
Tem
all
Knight.
that. We paid all of that.
Yes. Mr. Manager, have the staff made a recommendation yet,
For,
the insurance? Oh, that'll be us.
oh, no, that was,
I'm thinking about thinking stuff.
Think about a class you asking for opinions.
Yes.
Lord.
Every year, insurance goes up.
yep.
And I would just like them to, I wish they just had, we had something else to compare it to. Something other than just capital health plan, some other carrier. Because you're just logged in with this one
One
plan,
plan.
and that's it. So,
So, yeah,
and
competition.
when do this goes, we need to make a decision by when, city manager?
Well, it would be, these costs were going to affect October the 1st. So, of course, hopefully, a decision will be made in August or so, so that we know how to incorporate this into the budget as we try to have a balanced budget for you mid-September or early September.
In the letter, it says the 15th of the month prior to the effective date of the proposal, a renewal agreement.
So it would be the
So
15th.
they have a timeline that they have provided
Great,
us,
that'll be
So it's effective
September the
October
15th.
1st.
So it'll be September the 15th.
September 15th, yeah.
Thanks for that documentation.
I'm sorry. And knowing, we would actually have to know by open enrollment before we,
That's another date?
yes.
So when is open enrollment?
Open enrollment is, we would do our benefits fair on, August 18th,
August 18th?
yes.
Oh.
And, of course, we have to pay insurance a month in advance, so their September payroll will have to reflect what we decide, so in order to,
It's right around the corner.
Right.
So that makes it early August.
Yes.
We need to have a decision by next meeting,
Exactly.
no later than the first meeting in August.
And if any commissioner wish to meet individually with myself and Amanda, myself, Amanda, and Ms. Bush, by all means, we'll make ourselves available. If there's any additional questions or things you have after you've had a chance to look at this and study it a little bit.
And Ms. Bush, you could get us the figure for the retirees, and that'll, in addition to, while we're waiting on Medicare, we just know that's not available yet. Thank you. All right, any other questions or concerns? And city manager, did you say you don't have the Quincy adaptation plan survey kickoff minutes?
No, we don't.
Okay. So we will, not sure what that is, but we will discuss that at a later date.
Correct.
All right, we'll workshop that, I guess, at a later date. All right, so we'll just table that. All right, if there being nothing else, city clerk or attorney, any comments, concerns? City manager, commissioners?
Motion to adjourn?
All right.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Let's do it.
So-
Go to
so
workshop.
do it.
All right, see you guys back at 6 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
I apologize for my nervousness speaking in front of you.
Wow.
Like
You
said,
had a
the
good That's the reason why. Get a snack. Yes.
If I leave this building, I'm going to be late.
I need a fish sandwich.